Chicago Bears, I don't know what we are doing, but I mean, at this point, I can't even be mad anymore. I mean, the latest reports are saying that they have another person that they are interested in, and this guy came out of nowhere, in my opinion. Per Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network, the Chicago Bears have requested an interview with Packers offensive coordinator Adam Stenavich for their head coaching job, per a source. It's the first interview for Stenavich, a former NFL offensive lineman who has been an asset to Matt LaFleur. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I got a little PTSD when I read this at first because every time we try to pick or pull or steal, whatever you want to call it, from our hated rivals in the NFC North, it never seems to go well. Does anybody remember the last offensive coordinator we had in the building? We're not talking about the last one in Shane Waldron. Before that, Lou Getsy. Lou Getsy was supposed to be the hot name because he was connected to Aaron Rodgers, and we thought that, okay, we bring him in the building, we can make Justin Fields into this Aaron Rodgers project. They messed up his footing. They messed up the way he played. He didn't play with a lot of freedom. He was in his head. We already done this experiment. We've done this project before. Now you're telling me that you want to try and bring in Luke Getsy 2.0? Have we not learned our lesson, Chicago Bears? Are we wasting our time? We've already gotten the top front runners already in the building. We've already gotten Ben Johnson an interview. From all accounts, they're saying that that went very, very well. He has a really good quarterback development plan. He knows exactly how he wants to run the organization from top to bottom when he becomes the head coach, or if he becomes the head coach. I mean, you got Mike McCarthy, who's now free to also request an interview with the Bears. The Bears are probably one of the top destinations for him as well. He's a coach who is a great winning percentage, Super Bowl winner. But now you're bringing in offensive coordinator Adam Stenavich when we already know and understand that Matt LaFleur is the brains behind the offense. He's the offensive guru. He's the guy that actually gets it going. And this offensive coordinator role is just maybe an asterisk to him calling the shots in Green Bay. What are we doing? So, with that being said, I'm going to take a step back because I had to do a little bit of research. You know, I got to be the stat guy. I did a little bit of research on Adam Stenavich. And now the question is, well, why in the world would the Bears bring him in? Why are the Bears interested in Adam Stenavich, and who is this guy? Well, first off, we already know, obviously, he is the Packers offensive coordinator, has been in that role since 2022. But furthermore than that, it mentions that he took over the role as OC after Nathaniel Hackett actually left the Packers and went on to take over as the Denver Broncos head coach at that time. As for Stenavich, the rise to OC has been quite a journey. It mentions before taking the title, he was still with the Packers as an offensive line coach from 2019 to 2021. He was the run game coordinator for 2021 as well. Now, if you stop there, you think about some of the linemen that they had around that time. Obviously, that was when Bakhtiari was in his prime. David Bakhtiari, Elgin Jenkins. You had a very, very stout offensive line. You also had a very stout run game when Aaron Jones was here. So there are some basically some stake to his name when it comes to that. Like, you can give him some credit for maybe developing and being a part of that as well, being the run game coordinator around that time, and also making sure that the Packers had a very good offensive line. Obviously, they had one of the better run games around that time as well. I can't remember the other running back that they had with Aaron Jones that was really a good tandem, a really ground and pound type of running back. But he was a part of developing that as well. And so that's a star on his record for that. Now, I mentioned before that he was the San Francisco 49ers assistant offensive line coach from 2017 to 2018. That is also impressive because if you keep in mind, the San Francisco 49ers have always had a very good run game. At the very least, a decent run game from year to year. Even before they had a superstar in Christian McCaffrey, they usually have had multiple running backs that they've leaned on from year to year, whether it be running back by committee. But during that time, you think of names like a Carlos Hyde, who was a very decent running back. You think of Matt Breida. Those are the running backs that they leaned on. And then, of course, the tackles that he developed. Tackle Joe Staley, all Pro Bowl tackle for many, many years. I mean, this was a team that leaned on its run game, that also complemented the pass, and he was a part of that staff as well. Even before that, when we go into the college days, it mentions that he still held that OL coach title. He was connected to Northern Arizona in 2014 and then San Jose State in 2015 to 2016. And so now, again, my question is, well, why are the Bears really interested in bringing a guy like this in, because clearly head coaching to me, I would say that he has to be like at the bottom of the list. And so what is the real strategy? What is the real reason why? My only opinion would be maybe they're looking at replacing Chris Morgan, because I know I would have, as I mentioned multiple times on this channel, that I would have gotten rid of Chris Morgan along with Matt Eberflus. I would have gotten rid of Chris Morgan before I got rid of Matt Eberflus. Like, the offensive line has been atrocious. The development of the offensive line has actually deteriorated. Darnell Wright, who looked like a very good prospect from year one, has kind of taken a little bit of a backseat in year two. He's had some flashes, but there's been inconsistency along the offensive line for the last couple of years, and it has to change. I don't think that Chris Morgan is a very good teacher and a very good developer of these men that are on the offensive line, and you need somebody that's going to have that has a good resume of doing that. And in this instance, Adam Stenavich has a very good resume when it comes to being an offensive line coach on multiple levels, on the collegiate level, and of course with some of the better teams that have a good running game and good blocking and pass blocking scheme for the quarterback in the Packers and the 49ers. And so if you're talking about bringing him in the building to maybe be a candidate for the offensive line coach, absolutely, then I'm all on board. This is an underrated signing if we were to get him to pair with like a Mike McCarthy or pairing with Ben Johnson and his staff. Then, of course, this would be an A plus interview. But if you're interviewing from head coach, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is just a waste of time. Now, maybe it's because they've already interviewed Ben Johnson. They're impressed. They've been wild. The reports are saying that everything that he was supposed to show, he showed, as far as his like I said, his quarterback development plan, his leadership of what he would do with this organization from top to bottom. Those things you lean on. So maybe they're waiting until he gets out of the playoffs officially to have the official signing or the official trying to sign him, and see if there's some other people that want to be a part of his staff. And I would definitely keep in mind Adam Stanovich's name. But when it comes to this carousel of people, of just random candidates that are just coming in for head coaching, I would say that this was a waste of time outside of his resume of being an offensive line coach. And so, hey, I just want to get you guys' thoughts on that. Briefly, I wanted to talk about this because it just kind of blew my mind. I feel like like I told you jokingly this on the Morning Breeze today that I have a head coaching scheduled for Saturday at 5. Like, I'm on the docket for the candidacy. Like, it's utterly ridiculous. All of these random names. I think less is more. I said that many times. That's going to be my quote for 2025. Less is more. Like, make sure that you simplify your list, because at this point, I think they've brought in at least 19 candidates for this head coaching interviewing. And so I think that you should have already had your list of candidates that you know are going to be your serious guys, like the guys that you know are going to be in the final running for it, whether it be Mike McCarthy, whether it be Joe Brady, Pete Carroll, Ben Johnson. Like, those are the names. Aaron Glenn, Cliff Kingsbury, I'm not too high on. But I mean, if you want to put maybe a top 5 list together, then do that. But outside of maybe talking to these other guys, maybe trying to just get their mind on how they could be a part of a coaching staff, I don't see why you're bringing him in for head coaching. And so, again, want to get you guys' thoughts on Adam Stenavich. Do you all know anything about Adam Stenavich? Do you think that this is do you think this is a waste of time, or do you think that this is actually maybe catered to something else? Kind of like how they brought in Thomas Brown at first for the offensive coordinator position, and then they made him the passing game coordinator. Do you think that maybe this could be a back way of them saying, you know what, we could potentially put him in a different position where he's been elite at? And if you're talking about elite, offensive line is right there on his resume. And so that's where we can utilize him. But obviously, I'll be down there with you all in the comment section always. And as always, show some class on this video. Comment, like, subscribe, share this video with others. See you guys next time on The Breeze.